You know someone, the convo flows, you click, you realize you've got a ton of stuff in common, but then, all of a sudden, the chat that was like this turns into this. What used to feel like a fairy tale, a bright, sunny day, now it's just clouds and rain. And in trying to bring back that awesome connection from before, you start putting in more and more. After something like that, the worst part is we start questioning ourselves. Am I ugly? Am I boring? Did I annoy them? And the harshest one of all, what can I do to make them like me? You start thinking about changing who you are, just to catch the eye of someone you're into. How evil. Deep down, everyone wants to be loved. Nobody came into this world to be alone. We all want someone who sees us for our true selves. Someone who, even after seeing all our flaws, still chooses to stick around. So why is it so hard nowadays to find a solid relationship or someone you can trust when, ironically, most people are kind of looking for the same thing? Have you ever noticed that, paradoxically, the people who want a relationship the most are the ones who end up alone the most? Meanwhile, those folks who don't care as much or just want someone around for their own satisfaction. Maybe that guy even cheats on his girlfriend. Ever notice how those types always seem to have someone by their side? You've probably been in a situation where a connection with someone you really liked, or maybe still like, started to fizzle out. The daily chat slowed down. The person who used to talk with you for hours now just responds. You start realizing that the relationship you wanted so badly isn't as real as you thought. That person you had all the love in the world to give just didn't want you. Or worse, they chose to be with someone who doesn't even treat them right. And as a bonus, you get a nice little package of insecurities. Did I say something wrong? Am I not good looking enough? Do they just not like me anymore? Chasing answers to these questions keeps us stuck in the exact same spot, alone. And the advice is always the same. Just be yourself. Act natural. Don't get nervous. But nobody explains the main thing. How do we do that when we're lost in our own heads? That's exactly what we're going to break down in today's video. Relationships these days have become like a performance metric. Being single is frowned upon even by ourselves. Don't believe me? When was the last time you were in a public place where you didn't know anyone and you felt totally chill without reaching for your phone? Most people today just want a relationship to post on Instagram or because they're scared of being alone. There's so much social pressure that people forget there's a human being on the other side. What's supposed to be natural and just flow turns into something rigid where we're constantly trying to impress the other person to boost our own ego. Let's picture a scenario. This is Mike and this is Emma. They met naturally at school, started chatting, found out they both loved the same anime, the same music vibes, and hit it off right away. Emma even thought Mike was kinda cute. He's not some Sigma with a chiseled jaw or hunter eyes or whatever, but his sense of humor caught her attention, and Mike was into her too. They talked every day, sometimes staying up until the wee hours chatting. Mike was already picturing her in his future, dating, making couple plans. To anyone looking from the outside, they were already a couple. For Mike, he was just waiting for the perfect moment to tell Emma he liked her and finally go in for that kiss. The reality, none of what Mike planned happened. Out of nowhere, Emma started pulling back a bit and their chats got less frequent. But Mike's a smart guy. He saw a video online saying he should show more interest in her, throw in some flirty double entendre jokes because he was sure Emma still liked him. I mean, all his friends said they looked like a couple, so he started making it clear that he liked her without saying it outright, obviously. Seduction's in the subtle stuff. And what happened next? Their contact got even rarer. Emma still replied to his messages out of friendship and respect for Mike, but that natural spark, that easy affection they had, it was gone. There was no reason for her to text it first anymore. Mike ended up in the friend zone. He had the whole game in his hands and ended up trying to cut the table with a butter knife. Now, let me ask you, who messed up here? I think this is a classic moment in everyone's life, whether you're the girl or the guy. Honestly, I don't think either of them messed up. Sure, it's easy to say Mike should have asked her out sooner without waiting for the perfect moment, but when you're head over heels for someone, nothing else seems to matter. You go to bed and wake up thinking about them. It's super common to think that taking a step forward might ruin the great connection you already have. Same goes for Emma. How's it her fault if she was kinda available for him, waiting for him to make a move, and he didn't? She figured Mike just wanted to be friends, and then, after she started seeing him as just a friend, he decided to switch up his approach. Put yourself in her shoes. Sometimes a girl doesn't know if a guy is actually just a friend, or if he's pretending, manipulating his way into staying close, hoping to get her into bed one day. The process of getting to know someone and building a relationship has to feel natural. You've got to know how to seize the moment. There's no need to be afraid of being friends with someone. I personally believe that for a relationship to work, you need a solid friendship as the foundation. When you want someone so bad, you stop seeing them as a human and start seeing them as a goal. You stop living in the moment and only think about what you can do to win their approval. What's the best story I can tell? What's the best joke to make them laugh? What's the best topic to bring up? It stops being natural, and that's when you stop being your true self. You're constantly trying to show your best side so that person will finally like you. Ironically, the more we try to impress someone, the less interesting we come off. People can feel that insecurity. When we're super focused on winning someone over and they give us a bit of attention, it's like the world disappears. The anxiety melts away, everything feels lighter, and nothing else matters except that text we've been waiting all day for. Because at least a tiny drop of the expectations we've built up is coming true. The problem is, when we're obsessed with finding a soulmate, we lose a ton of rationality because we're expecting everything to be perfect. So we end up reading neutral signs as negative. When you're chatting with a girl you're really into and the convo suddenly cools off or the topic dies, that moment is supposed to be neutral. Not good, not bad. It just happened. It's normal for a chat with your friends to fizzle out sometimes. Later you text them or they text you and it picks back up. It's no big deal. But when it's the girl you're crushing on, the one you think is your soulmate, everything has to be perfect. You need to talk all day. See how building up all these expectations makes us emotionally dependent on the other person? You're handing over the power to another human to meet or not meet your emotional needs. See how dangerous that is? It's not your fault because nobody teaches us how to handle this. We don't have the emotional stability to think clearly when we're in the middle of it. And when the other person picks up on this, they've got two options. If they're a bad person, they'll keep stringing you along, giving you crumbs of attention to keep your hope alive. Or they'll be too scared to straight up tell you they don't feel the same. So they start pulling back, replying less, starting fewer convos. And what do all those YouTube coaches tell you to do? Act like you don't care. Stop giving them attention. Try to ignore them. That tactic might work to make you feel less crappy, but it's just treating the symptoms, not the root of the problem. You're falling back into the trap of not being yourself. You're trying to create a perfect persona to make them like you. I've been there, desperate for a relationship. And here's the irony, I didn't get one. It bugged me that I was the only one in my friend group without a girlfriend. But over time, I started realizing how selfish my actions were toward others. Every time I met a woman I found interesting, even before we'd exchanged a single word, my brain was already like, am I looking good enough? What can I do to get her attention? I got so fixated on finding romantic love that I forgot to be myself. I was more focused on pleasing someone to make them like me than actually building a real connection. It was completely narcissistic. The good news is that changing this isn't even that hard. Remember all those questions we talked about in the intro? Now we're gonna answer them. First thing I want you to get into your head is this. We're not in a race, and you're not behind on anything. Everything happens in its own time. The more you stress about getting a relationship, the harder it gets, because your brain will do everything to keep you from failing at something so important to you. And when a cool person finally comes into your life, you're not interacting with them. You're interacting with this perfect ideal of love you've projected onto them. Those standard pieces of advice work because you're doing the exact opposite. You can't be yourself because you're trying to be this perfect version of yourself to make that person like you more. That's why you can't act naturally and end up getting nervous. The idea is to work on unconditional love, whether you're into the person or not. The best way to do that is to pay attention to how you treat people you're not trying to date, and then do the same with the ones you are. Save that romantic love for when you're actually in a relationship. Don't build expectations with people who haven't shown you the same consideration. Try treating everyone like you'd treat a friend. Connections need to be natural. That's what being yourself means. That's the only way you'll build really good relationships. A relationship shouldn't be hard. Both people need to put in effort. If you feel like you're chasing someone too much, it's because they're running from you. Have a genuine interest in their life. Be honest, and don't feel like you need to constantly please them like they're some prize. If you treat them like a celebrity, they've got no choice but to treat you like a fan. Before you go chasing a relationship with someone else, the best thing you can do while you're single is get to know yourself. What are your insecurities? When someone rejects you, what do you think? Do you think they found you ugly, boring? What's the stuff that bothers you about yourself, whether it's about women or men? Work on improving those things for you. When you feel complete and happy in your own company, it's so much easier and lighter to connect with someone else. Two people only truly love each other when they're capable of living without each other, but choose to live together. You don't need to look like a Hollywood star to be attractive. Just take care of yourself, your body, your teeth, your skin, and read more books. Be someone who's interesting enough to talk to basically anyone about anything. Be curious. Have hobbies. I'm 100% sure that just by showing self-care and being a more curious person, genuinely trying to understand others and diving into your interests, you'll already be more attractive than most people. That way, you become a more complete, happier person in your own company. It's like tending to your garden. Do that, and you'll naturally attract way more butterflies.